I'd like to thank our speakers, Tom Weber, and then also Pastor Penny for allowing us to host our Baccalaureate here. And let's get started.
Good evening. Is it warm enough in here for you all? This building was built in 1948, and the wonderful people who have run it before I came a year and a half ago we have not yet figured out how to add air conditioning. So long about 4 o'clock come May, if you come in and sit down, plan on sweating. That's why there are boxes of tissue all the way up and down the aisles. It is my privilege to be here with you tonight. I am a person who loves education. I'm an educator myself. I teach at Tozer Seminary in Redding, California. Only we teach very differently than what you all are used to. We don't meet our students except for 5 days a semester, 8 hours a day. We don't get the privilege of getting to know one another as you all have. However, we do get the privilege of learning as you all have. We here at the meeting place are thrilled out of our minds to share our building and our thoughts with you as you come to one of the most important milestones of your life so far. You are preparing as young people to step out of dependence and obedience and into independence and innovation. What is coming to your life in the next few years is a huge, 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 oh so huge amount of change. And in that change, you will discover what you want to do, who you want to be, and what it is that really, really matters to you. You are in a process in which you step out of a school system and into whatever your life plan is. While you are walking that road, there are some things I want you to remember. First and foremost, you are not an accident. There is a God who created the universe and planned you before you were born. The Bible says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. You are no accident. You are a person that God thought about before you ever came about. And I don't want you to forget that, because as your parents and your teachers, your administrators, and all other adults who have lived a long time will tell you, sometimes life doesn't feel like I was very planned. You have not only been created specifically, but you have been created for a specific purpose. You have something inside of you that you were meant to do. But to find what you are supposed to do is the journey you're taking. The first thing you need to know to find the place that God has intended for you in your life is, what is your passion? Now, passion is thrown around in our culture like it is always sexual. It is not. I am an extremely passionate person about one subject. I have spent 33 years chasing it. I love the truth. My passion is built around that thing inside of me that wakes me up and gets me going. Passion is indeed about emotion, but it is focused emotion. And it is not always about that really cute boy you met down there at the Alpine the other day. Okay? Sometimes passion is about what makes your heart, your brain, your entire being tick. Have you ever had something, guys, that you just can't get out of your mind? Have you ever gone to bed thinking about something somebody said to you that day that just bothered you immensely? Have you ever been so bugged by a movie that you talk about it for days and days and days? That should not have happened that way. That movie was wrong. Right? The new Infinity War movie is only half over. I'm not happy about that. That needs passion in me, because I want the rest of the story, because I am passionate about what the truth is. What gives you passion? What makes you say, I got to do that? If you asked my husband, he would describe a largemouth bass, because fishing gives him passion, right? You know why it gives him passion? Because when he's fishing, his mind and his body and all of his actions are free to do the one thing he loves to do, think. Fishing is his road to his passion. I want to know what your passion is, because when we discover what our passion is, we discover what to do with the rest of our lives. If you are not working within an area of passion, you will live a life of mundane frustration. You ever met anybody who's doing a job they hate? Who complains about their job all the time? That you think, dude, quit. I'd rather see you broke than listen to you complain, right? Passion can come from all kinds of places, including pain. Dr. Maya Angelou is one of America's best known modern poets, civil rights activists, and authors. She is a huge influencer of the educational world. She was. She died 3 years ago. She was incredibly skilled, amazingly poignant, and deeply emotional in her writing. How did she find such a wonderful life and way to live out her passion? Maya Angelou credited her ability to follow her passion to one single moment in her life. When she was 7.5 years old, she was forced to endure an incredibly violent experience. As a result of that particular event, young Maya was left speechless for 5 years. She did not speak one word for 5 years. In her own words, she said, "My young mind believed it was what I had said that had caused the problem. Therefore, I was afraid to speak again." For 5 years, she did not speak. However, what she did do was go to the local libraries, both the white library and the black library. Remember, Maya Angelou lived a long time before you guys did. And she read every single book she could get her hands on. She read poets. She read narrators, she read songwriters, she read plays, and she put them all to memory. 5 years later, after her experience, when Maya Angelou did open her mouth, she opened it to read a poem called "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings," written by a man named Paul Laurence Dunbar. Maya Angelou's most well-known book is also titled "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." After that, she developed into one of the greatest writers of our time. She said in her own words, "I am proof that God can make something good come out of something awful." She is one of my personal sheroes. And I believe that her passion was worthy of her pain. I do not know how you're going to find your passion. I don't promise you that it will cause you pain. My passion came out of pain, but not everybody's does. Maybe you will have a discovery in college. Maybe you will have an experience. But in any case, finding that thing that excites your soul is key to knowing where and what you were made by the God who knew you before you were born to do. Now, once you discover your passion, I promise you it will not be easy to get to it. Once you know what your heart is sold out to, you must not only be passionate, but persistent. Persistence means I do not give up. I do not let somebody else stop me. Persistence means that you go and do whatever you need to do to discover everything you can about your passion. When I decided I wanted to know truth, I had to figure out what truth was. I found it in a relationship with the person of Jesus Christ, who describes himself as the truth. And then I spent 8 years in college studying what I wanted to know about my passion. When you discover your passion, go to work learning about it. Be persistent. Discover what it is that makes that thing what it is. Do not give up. Do not stop trying. Because when we find what our passion is, and we find about our passion, we must also find a way to put our passion to work. Knowledge and emotion will not get you where you want to go. Knowledge, emotion, and good hard work will get you where you want to go. I know that many people have said that life should be easy, that we should get an education and walk out and get a job immediately, but the world just does not work that way. My first job was working in a place called Taco John's. Right? I made tacos because that's where I had to work to make the money to go to school to do what I needed to do. Be willing to work and not be mad about it. Life is full of work. Be willing to be disappointed. Be willing to fail and try again. These are all things that we must do in order to get to the place our passion is meant to take us. Don't give up. Do not give up. I did not get to graduate with my master's degree until I was 49 years old. I did not give up, but there were days when I thought, oh dear heavens, I am never gonna get there. Now, I am preparing to work on my doctorate, and I expect that I might be close to 60 before I get it. Do not give up. Do not quit. When you find that thing that you love, you hold on to it. You don't let anybody shake it from you. And you be willing to fail to get to where you're supposed to go, because failure is one of our very best teachers. Yes? Lastly, for your purpose, your passion, your place, and your persistence to mean anything, you gotta have principles. You see, your purpose is never centered on your happiness alone. The thing that you are made to do will come out in community. This American idea that we are all individuals, and what I do only impacts me, and what you do only impacts you, and what they do only impacts them, is an outright lie. And I'm just going to say that to you. Everything everything you do impacts the people around you. And your passion and your purpose will impact the people around you. Ultimately, everything we do is about other people. So if you have principles, which are ethics, principles are ethics. Principles are the belief in what I will do and how I will do it. Ethics is the acting out of those beliefs. Principles are what they are. Your principles will tell other people who you are. Whether you are trustworthy, whether or not you are willing to do the right thing when it's hard. Your principles will put you in a place not only of passion, but in a place of respect and honor and dignity. So whatever it is that you choose to do, people will let you. Not only that, they will appreciate you. They will believe that you are a person who is worthy of honor. And let me tell you something, if you think somebody is worthy of honor, you're going to listen to everything they say. Right? Somebody you think is really smart, loves you to death, everything they say, you hang on it. If you want to impact people and have that passionate purpose, you must have the principles that tell people that you are worthy to be heard. Will you follow your passion in such a way that you do so with your own integrity intact? Will you be respectable and honorable as you seek to fulfill the role that has been built inside of you? Will you do the right thing when it's easier to do the wrong thing? It's often, in this world, easier to do the wrong thing, right? Will you choose to be that person that the world can look at, like Dr. Angelou, and say, I know that person has integrity, so everything they do, I will watch. Graduates of the 2018 class, we here at the meeting place, along with your loved ones, are praying that you will find your place and your passion. We are asking God to stir that passion up in you in such a way that you know it and you cannot deny it. We are praying you will adopt a mindset of persistence that makes you doggedly unwilling to give up. We are praying your principles will grow strong and that at the end of your journey, you will be able to look back on what you found to do and feel the satisfaction that your doing was rooted in being, that who you were as a person, you were a person who held the truth of right and wrong and chose to do the right, even if doing right meant apologizing for messing up and doing wrong. I believe each of you is personally created for a purpose, and that purpose is precious. I charge you, class of 2018, believe this truth. Go out and find what you are made for. Embrace it with great emotion and deep commitment. Live it out honestly and truly, and if you do, I promise you, you will find what we all really want, a life you enjoy living. Thank you.
I'd now like to invite Mr. Robert to speak.
Good evening. I find it kind of ironic and maybe fortuitous, I don't know. But I came up and I talked to Pastor Penny and I said, well, this is what I'm going to speak about. She goes, oh, that's exactly what I'm going to speak about. So you're going to hear a little redundancy here tonight. But I think my point of view is going to be a little bit different, okay? So So anyway, I'd like to start with saying that next Friday, you are going to be going to your graduation. The graduation is actually called a commencement, and a commencement means to begin. It does not mean to end, it means to begin. And what's going to happen when you get to that commencement is you're going to be hugging and crying and kissing each other and shaking hands and all those sorts of things, and then tomorrow is going to show up. And you're going to get up and say, now what do I do with my life? And I think that's a difficult thing to do. And I'm going to suggest that you don't hurry. I'm going to suggest that you take 6 or 8 years or 10 years to figure out what you're going to do with your life. Take your time. You got a lot of it. Okay? Barring some horrid thing, you're going to live to 90. That's a lot of years. You can make a lot of mistakes along the way and correct those mistakes and grow from those mistakes and continue to be a good person. And I think it's really important for you to understand that. I recall when I was young, grown-ups in my life would say to me, well, what are you going to do when you grow up? So I would lie. I'd say, well, I'm going to be a doctor, or I'm going to be a whatever, you know, changed by the week. Because I don't know what I was going to do. And when I graduated from high school, they said, well, okay, you graduated, what do you do? I don't know, I want to go play football. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I don't think we have to hurry and rush into that. I think we have to find what we want to do. And I think that's very important. You will be making choices. You will. Some of them will be good choices, and some of them won't. When you make a choice, there's always a consequence. Some of those consequences you pay for. And some of those are rewards. So take your time. Make your choices carefully. So I think that's important for you to do. Now, I got thinking about society in general. I like to think about things like that. Ancient societies, a long time ago, had various roles for people to play. There was the medicine man, there was the women who hunted or gathered, and there were the hunters, and there were the defenders, and there were the people who did the sewing, and there were the people that did the cooking, and they all had different roles. Throughout society, they all have roles. I thought, well, it's certainly not like that today, and I started thinking about different societies today. In our societies today, we also have roles. Now, back then, ancient society, before I was born, there were sex roles. They were like, man did this and women did that, and those roles are breaking down now. Okay? But we still have roles that need to be done to make society move forward. We need educators. We need people who are healers. We need people who are going to dig ditches. We need people to build houses, to sew, to cook, to take care of families. We need people to do all of those things that need to make the society move forward. And I think that's really important for us to understand. We need those things. And when you start making your choices, you're going to think about what you want to do. And I'm going to challenge you that when you make that choice about what you want to do, that one aspect of that choice is, how am I going to contribute to society? What is my job going to be to contribute to society? Now, Pastor Penny talked about passion, and I got a little bit about passion in here too, because that's kind of the main focus of mine. And there's some people who have passions that do not contribute to society. Passions for greed and money. No, that's not going to help you. That's not going to find what you want to find. But when you find yourself doing something that's useful, that you love, then you're going to be able to live a life that's going to be a little more contented. And I think that's really important for us to do that. Each of you has a talent. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. You may not even know what it is, but each of you has a talent. Maybe you have many talents. And your passion is going to grow from that talent. And that talent is going to make you a productive member of our society. You're going to have a passion. Now, Maya Angelou had a passion. I'm going to talk about someone who had a passion quite a bit different. Okay? When I was a young guy, about 12, 13 years old, I was raised by a stepfather. My stepfather had a 10th grade education. He had to hang drywall, you guys call it sheetrock these days, in order to make a living. He absolutely hated every minute of it. So when I got to be about 12 or 13 years old, he drug me along and put a belt on me, gave me a hammer, and said, teach me how to hang drywall. And so I learned how to hang drywall at a very young age. And he would say to me regularly, if you don't get an education, son, this is what you're going to be doing. And I thought, okay, you know. However, there was a little glitch. There was a little glitch in this, because in those days they did something called piecework. Piecework was when the more you built, the more houses you built, the more you got paid. And they found that if two guys would work together as partners, they could do more than two people individually. So he had a partner. And they called him the Greek. He was a little guy. He was a tough little guy. He was from Greece. And he had a college education. And he was very smart. He was very intelligent. And so I got my dad over here saying to me, hammer nails, you're going to college for the rest of your life, and I got to get a college education. I'm here to go and hammer nails. So finally I asked him, I said, you have a college education, you do anything you want, why are you hanging drywall? He says, son, I love doing it. I love doing it. He found his passion. And I think that's an important thing to think about. You need to find yours. I don't care what it is. You might like to go fishing. Maybe you can figure out a way to make a living. The idea in my mind is to find a way to make a living, get just compensation for doing the thing you love. I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate. Somewhere along the line, and as I said, you have time. I had time. I was in my 20s. I didn't become a teacher until I turned almost 30. I was 29. Okay? But I spent 30 years in a classroom, and after 30 years in a classroom, I decided I was going to retire, and I moved to Burney and started doing for free what I was getting paid for. I think I found my passion. But I don't think you should have to be a teacher to find your passion. You might want to go ahead and hang drywall. I don't know. You might want to drive a truck. You might want to go fishing. Maybe you can figure out how to be a professional fisherman and be able to make love. That's the idea. And the other point that I'd like to make, you know, where in the world are you going? How are you going to discover what your passion is? I don't know. I know you have to look into your own heart. You have to get up in the morning and say, do I hate what I'm doing? If the answer is yes, find something else to do. If you say, no, I like to do this, I'm going to go back and do it, maybe you're on the right track. And I'm going to make another recommendation to you. Never, never, never let anybody ever dissuade you from your passion. And again, it's another personal story. I said that you're going to take years to make choices. And I made some choices when I was young, and they probably weren't always the best choices. And they sometimes led me in the wrong direction. And then one day, I knew what I wanted to do. I was going to become a teacher. That was it. Boom. Next day, the very next day, happened to be the opening day at little JC over on the coast, and I signed up. So then I went and got transferred over to the four-year university, and I sat down with my counselor, and I said, I'm going to be a teacher, here's my grades, here's everything here, and he looked it over, and he looked it over, and he laughed, and folded it up, and said, you will never be a teacher. That's what I told him. I was angry. And guess what? 41 years later, I'm still doing it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. I don't care. Someone says, well, you can't be an NBA player. Do you know how few people be NBA players? Hey, if you want to be an NBA player, go for it. I don't care if you're 5'2". You guys probably don't know a guy named Spud Webb. He was 5'2", NBA player. They told me to do it. Do it. And here's the thing. What if you try with everything you've got to go do what you want to do, and you fail? Did you lose? No. Because you learned how to work, you learned how to work towards a goal, and you will discover another passion. So I recommend, take your time. The next few years are going to be scary. They are. The next few years are going to be exciting. They are. The next few years you're going to face fears, and you have a choice. Face them down or run away from them. Face them down. Beat them, because it will pay off in the end. Thank you.
At this point in time, we usually ask if there are any parents or students who would like to share something like to say to the class. You don't have to come up here to the microphone. There are great acoustics and here you can stand where you are if you'd like to say something. Any parents have a funny story or something from memory from the class that they'd like to share?
I will say something. Oh my goodness. Children, there's like a million stories about you all. I have to say that I have watched an immense amount of growth in this young group of children. Dante is probably the first one that comes to my mind. That child walked in super angry, and I thought, are we going to make it to the end of the school year with you? Are you going to make it? And look at you now. In 5 days, you're going to walk across the podium, and you have graduated from high school, and you are an amazing and incredible young man, and I can't wait to see what life brings you as you step forth. Never have I met anyone who complained as much as Mercedes. Well, it's only because I love you so much, Mercedes. You always come in with a smile and then some tears right after because you're so stressed out. But I will miss you walking in and complaining about the day that's coming your way and crying about it and then smiling about it because that was about them the way they all worked. I have had every one of you in my class for at least 1 year, but probably more like 3. And that's not even counting advisement. I am looking forward to taking you to Vallejo on Thursday. It definitely warrants at least 2 trips to Dutch Brothers so that we can survive the driving time that it's going to take us to get there and home. But I have watched you and loved you, and I'm so excited to see where life takes you. Elliot, keep riding that skateboard. Keep riding it. And those of you who go to college, enjoy every minute of college. I thought college was the funnest. It was the funnest time in my life. I thought it was great. I involved myself in a group of kids that were that had a lot of fun, a lot of clean fun, a lot of fun with peanut butter in the hallways. And we had a blast. And those of you who are going off to a college, you're going to live in a dorm. Get out there and enjoy that stuff. Because you aren't ever going to get to do it again. I don't get to go to peanut butter fights now. If I did, I'd have to clean them up, see, but that was the benefit of college. I didn't have to clean it up after I made the giant mess. So keep that in mind. But I wish you the best of luck. I look forward to seeing what life has in store for you.
I would like to speak. These students are very fine young people, and they've been in, our life a lot. We have appreciated them fully, and we wish them the best of luck. And we're gonna miss you. But basically, you guys, I just want you to appreciate and recognize the fine adults that have been in your life. Whether they're your parents, whether they're your coaches, your teachers, your spiritual advisors, they've been with you every step of the way. And part of becoming the fine young people that you become today is based on their guidance. So, could you give them a big round of applause, please?
Not sure you want me to start telling stories, but
I got something.
great.
Some of us, we've all known each other since before our children were born. And Kristen called us how many times? Are you here at the hospital? Are you here at the hospital? To have Anna. And so, we've known these kids, Christina, we've known these kids since before they were born. And we've cradled them through college and preschool. My daughter cutting off Chelsea's hair at preschool. And me getting a phone call. And me terrified that she really cut off a bunch of Chelsea's hair. She only cut off a little bit, but she still got in trouble. They were playing beauty parlor, and they did. Yeah, they were having too much fun that day. I had this preschool T-shirt from when I graduated at preschool, and we've lost some of the kids along the way. But we have this group of kids that we've all hung together, and some of the kids came along a little bit later on. Fabiola, I think you came along about 2nd or 3rd grade. Fabian, I think you came along about 2nd grade. And so we have these kids that they've just always been so apart. And in a few days, we're not necessarily saying goodbye, but we're helping to boost them along to higher levels. Whether, it's doing whatever it is that they're doing, and it doesn't matter whatever their passion is that they have found, whether they're a chemical engineer, whether they're a baker, whether they're a fireman, a doctor, whatever it is that their passion is, go do it. Whether you're working at the mill, it doesn't matter. But wherever your passion is, do it. And hang on to each other and take lots of pictures these next few days, because 20 years from now, yeah, you're going to laugh your heads off. But these next few days are going to mean a lot. And young parents are going to bawl. Let them. Let them. Hannah McKenzie.
Some students. Some stories.
Come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. Come on, Bailey.
I'll just stand here. I'm winging this, so bear with me. I think it's really cool that all of us got to grow up together. It's not like a big school where you go to different preschools and then you go and leave your friends from preschool and then go to a different elementary school and then leave those friends and then go to a middle school and then finally finish off at high school. We all grew up with each other. Some of us moved here. I remember when Elliot moved here in 4th grade with his hair longer than mine. I remember when Dante moved here, and I didn't think that he was going to be my senior project partner, but that happened. And the rest of us, we grew up together, and we were friends since we were tiny. And we all grew together, and our character changed based on each other. And I know a lot of us are going to be leaving for college, and a lot of us are also staying, but this isn't goodbye. We'll come back, and we'll be with each other again, and we'll share stories, and we'll have our lives behind us.
Come on, Chris. Christopher. If you don't, your dad will. Chris, come on. If you're not, your dad's going to.
I'm down with this.
When this group of students was in junior high, I heard all these great stories about them, about how they were going to be such an amazing class. They said, watch out, this group is they're kind of mean. And I thought, whatever, they're going to be ninth graders, it'll be fine. Yes, so this group of students, it's the only group I've ever had 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade English, so we've been together throughout all of high school.
And you're still
Freshman year, we are doing a writing prompt, and there's some meanness going on, and one of the girls talks about how much she loves to read. We know she loves to read, she has lots of books. Her friend says that if she could have 24 hours to do whatever she wants, she would burn down all the Barnes and Noble. So this little group, most of the girls in this class, got to stay after freshman year English and have a little conversation with me. And I said, this is not how high school is going to be. You're going to change the way that you treat each other. And they did, and they have come a long way. And now all of those girls are in my leadership class, and it is a much different place than it was 4 years ago. I've known a lot of these students prior to freshman year. Eli was 3 months old when we met. And Chris, I think, was 5 when his sister was at one of my softball clinics. When I've known them for quite a while. They're a really special group. I have to say, in all honesty, it's the first year where it came to make day list, and they wanted to know, who might not make the list. And even though I had some students who were maybe borderline getting that passing grade, I wasn't worried about any one of them. I knew that they were going to make it. I knew that they were going to put effort forward. Nobody gave up this year, which I can't say that that's ever happened since I've been a senior teacher. There's always somebody that we're trying to, convince that it's a good idea to pass senior English. But this group they're really strong, and across the board, we've learned a lot together. We've talked a lot lately about fear, and if you are scared of something, that fear is going to hurt you more so than if you're not even able to do the task. And so that's kind of what I would encourage you guys as you're reading. Don't be scared. In the book of Joshua 1:9 it says, "Banish fear and doubt, for the Lord God is with you always." And you need to not be scared. You're going to hurt yourself if you go into life scared and fearful. You won't perform as well as you can, no matter what you're trying to do. So be nice. Freshman year's lesson. But also don't be scared. And as you go into college or whatever next year brings for you, remember that balance between keep your old friends here, just like Bailey was saying, come back and visit, but also don't be afraid to make new friends. There are amazing people outside of here too. So some of you are leaving here together, some of you are staying here together. Don't be afraid to branch out and meet new people, but also keep those friendships from earlier as well. Anybody else want to share a story? Okay. Anybody else want to say? Okay. I am not sure. I'm the one to close in prayer. Am I? The pastor. Okay.
Pray us out.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do that.
That would be wonderful. Thank
Just so you know, I'm Mr. Penny. I serve with Pastor Penny here at the church. And so great things that everyone shared today. And it's a joy to be able to hear some of those things. I would like to hear some of the stories. Maybe when we have refreshments, I can get in there and eavesdrop on some of those. So, Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for this evening and for this opportunity that we've had to gather together in this place. Lord, for each of these young people, that they can be encouraged by those things that have been shared with them. Lord, as they come together in this time that really culminates all of this time of education up to their graduation, and all of the memories and the things that they hold dear. And we thank you for each and every one of them. I speak a blessing upon each of these students, Lord, that you would bless them in their lives, that you would help them to find that passion, that purpose, Father, that they would be patient in all of that, and God, that they would truly fulfill what you have called them to do, no matter what that might be. I just ask that in this next week, as final preparations for the ceremony and for teachers and all of that, that it would just come together smoothly, and that your hand of blessing would be upon it. And now, Lord, as we go from this place, as we share some refreshments, just be with us during that time. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you.